Okay, Parasha meditation, Parashat Tetzaveh. It's about Shabbat. We're going to focus on Shabbat. Whenever I'm away on a journey, when I come back to home, it's so special. I love to come home to my own house, light my own candles in my own home. There's nothing like that. And so this week's Parasha is about the clothing of the Kohanim, but there's also something very interesting. It is about the lighting of the eternal menorah. And it's the only service that's written in the book of Shmot. All the other service in the tabernacle is written in the next book of Vayikra, of Leviticus. And it's just like interspersed here before the garments of the Kohanim, the mitzvah of lighting the eternal light, which is really interesting and curious. This is the last week's Parasha that we just read on Shabbat was about the vessels for the tabernacle, and this week's is about the garments for the Kohanim. But then in between is this mitzvah of igniting the candles. And that's the beginning of our Parsha, actually, the very first Pasuk. And it says in Shmot Perek Kaf Zayin Pasuk Kaf, ואתה תצווה את בני ישראל ויקחו אליך שמן זית צח, כתית למאור להעלות נר תמיד. You shall command the children of Israel to bring you pure oil of beaten olives for lighting, to raise up the candle to burn eternally. So this Atat Tetzaveh is a very strange language, and Malbim explains this means it's something that starts immediately and for all subsequent generations. And even when we don't have a tabernacle and temple, we continue to light these candles in the synagogues, which is also called a mikdash me'at, a small sanctuary, and as well as in the home. And this mitzvah of lighting the candles, one of the three special mitzvot for women. It's as it says in Midrash HaGadol, in the Shulchan Aruch, it says it's a mitzvah for women more than men. Even if the husband also wants to light the Shabbat candles, the woman of the house takes precedence. So the word Tetzaveh, the second word in the Parsha, and then the name of the Parsha is called in that word, has the same numerical value as Nashim Tziva. He commanded the women. Isn't that cool? Therefore, the Torah that's about kindling the eternal light in the sanctuary alludes to women's responsibility to light the Shabbat candles in the home. Even though this is a rabbinic mitzvah to light candles for Shabbat, it's still, there's an allusion in the Torah from the word Tetzaveh, that the Torah empowers women with the ability to ignite the holiness of the temple into our homes. And the halacha is, if you don't have enough money to both buy Kiddush wine and Shabbat candles, you're supposed to buy just Shabbat candles. That takes precedence. So it's interesting that the word katit, which means like beaten, bring pure oil for beaten oils for lighting, katit, beaten, the numerical value is 830, which is the total years that the two first temple stood. The first temple stood for 410 years, and the second temple for 420 years. So together it's 830 years, the numerical value of katit, the beaten olive oil. And so there's also an allusion to the third and final temple when you take the next word together with katit lema'or, beaten for lighting, then that has, sorry, I made a mistake. The two first temples would give light for a limited time period, only katit lema'or, beaten for lighting. But the third temple will remain forever. How do we know that? The continuation of the verse says, Laha'alot ner tamid, to raise up the candle to burn eternally. And that is, it refers to this third temple that will be, the light will never be extinguished. So keep in mind that the light, the windows of the temple were special, that they were narrow within and wide without. And that is because Hashem does not need our light. He doesn't need the light from outside. It's actually the light of the temple, because it's wide within and narrow without. So the light of the temple will exude outwards, as opposed to usually windows are there to bring light into the house. And so the candles that we light too have that, the women light, have the ability to bring light, to exude outwards. Make for me a sanctuary, and I will dwell within them. That means within each one of us, we can bring the Shekhinah into ourselves, into our home. And this is why we also light the Shabbat candles. And one of the reasons is for peace in the home. And peace in the home is made up of it comes from the Shekhinah, from the Yud of the man, of Ish, and the Hey of the woman. Isha, together it's the name of God. Yud and Hey is the name of God that brings the Shekhinah. So Leha'alot is missing the Vav to teach us that really, that the fact that the 6 candles are extinguished and rekindled, while only the middle candle, the 7th one, it burns perpetually. And that's why it states to raise up the candle in singular, because the Mishkan is to testify about the divine presence that dwells amongst Israel through the miracle of that middle candle that never would be extinguished. And in the Holy of Holies, there's another miracle. The tablets of the Ark, the engraved letters, was the same read back both ways. And that means that when you make a circle through the stones, so the inside of the mem and the samach should naturally fall out, but it's remained miraculously. So there's 2 witnesses to the miracles of God. We have the Ark of the Covenant, and we have the eternal candle. So anyway, we're here. The candle also symbolizes the words of Torah. It's considered a guide to life, to help us against stumbling. And in the old time, we used to have to light candles for Shabbat so that we would not stumble into each other, because that was before they had electric light. But today, we don't need that. We just need the spiritual. We have electric candles, but we need the spiritual glow that the candles bring. The candle purifies the soul. Candle is different from other goods in this world, that when you share other food or anything else, it gets diminished. But when you share the light of the candles, it increases. It never takes from the first candle to ignite another candle. In the same way, when we fulfill a mitzvah, even if it seemingly comprises expense and effort, we do not become depleted. That's the emunah we need to have. Rather, we get recharged with spiritual energy. So now to the meditation. Sit comfortably in your chair and close your eyes. Take several deep breaths and imagine that you are an unlit candle. Get in touch with the yearning to become lit. Allow your mind to travel back to search for mitzvot you performed. It could be visiting the sick, rejoicing with the bride, dancing vigorously at her wedding, keeping the dietary laws, kashrut, scrupulously giving tzedakah, charity, etc. Focus on one of the mitzvot that you especially performed with your whole heart. Envision how this mitzvah acts like a spark that ignites your wick, and imagine how you begin to glow with a bright orange light. Your flame grows stronger and your whole body becomes enlightened. Feel yourself radiating this warming light as you slowly inhale and exhale. Inhale as you visualize the word Ner, candle. Exhale as you visualize the word Tamid, eternal. Ner, Tamid. God's candle burns perpetually within our soul. Keep repeating the breathing, visualizing the word Ner on the in-breath and the word Tamid on the out-breath for 8 times. See if you can do that. Your light is like the brightness of wisdom, driving away the darkness of ignorance. You are the bright, radiant light. Feel yourself pulsating, expanding. Your light shining forth further and further until it illuminates your entire home. Allow your inner flame to reach out even further until it fills your whole neighborhood. Your neighborhood is illuminated by your glowing light. Imagine your candle traveling even further out to your entire country and still further to encompass the whole universe. You fill the entire world with your light, illuminating every space to break through any darkness and blockage within yourself and the world. Continue glowing with this orange light in all directions, eradicating darkness from within and from without. Okay.